Welcome back, everyone, to week number 7 of the AEL University Counter-Strike Global Offensive League. As always, of course, my name is Tuesbies, and I'm joined by the lovely Charisma. Lockie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well, Luther. I hope you're doing well too. It's good to be here for some more Counter-Strike action. You and I will becoming quite a familiar pairing being together, aren't we? So it should be really good to get stuck into this one. So look, I'm ready to go. There's a lot of weight that carries in these matches, so I'm really excited to see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. There certainly is quite a lot that goes into the games like Counter-Strike, of course. A lot of prep work, a lot of these teams really coming in, trying to throw it to their hardest, of course, and put on the best show possible. And putting on the best show possible, of course, would not be possible without our lovely, lovely sponsors.
Yeah, that's right. We do have to thank our friends over at Predator. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming today. Predator are the gaming PC partner of the AEL. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming. Predator puts power and precision in your hands. Elevate your gaming experience in every way with quality performance thanks to Predator. And of course, we can't go without thanking AOC, the best viewing experience. AOC is a global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC has delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for your home, office, or gaming. And then Rig, what it takes to win. Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team and enhance your gaming experience.
Yeah, big shout-outs, as always, of course, to Predator, AOC, and Rig for helping to make all of this possible. But, Lockie, it does appear that we are going to have a game on our hands momentarily, of course. It is going to be UOW Esports Red versus the Mega C5S team, of course. Should be very exciting to see how this one goes, of course, because there are a few implications with this matchup as we get towards that latter stage of this kind of groups heading into playoffs. If Mega wins at least one of these two games, they're going to be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. And if Mega wins both of these games, they're going to be seed number 1 of their group.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much riding on this one. Really important that each team kind of gets out on top here. But like you said, a couple of options there where maybe only one map's required, but you know, 2 really puts you in a strong position to secure the win and to secure yourself in a strong position moving forward. But it looks like we are already underway, Luther. Getting stuck into it already, and it will be Monash taking the mid control already, and Statsy forced back away. And they start to push through archers here, and it could be early pressure now on to Swinburne to try and get themselves out of this one.
Yeah, Statsy going to be having to back away there. 80k able to find that first opening shot. Sunshine's going to be just watching him back over towards Apps as Nyx tries to push through but will get shut down. Kevin will just be playing the post plant angle from the side, jiggling back and forth over towards that library position, hoping to get whatever work can be done. Accomplished there, just doing damage as 80k will just continue to swing out time and time again, and Kevin going to be there to clean up those last 2 shots.
Yeah, good round there from Monash, getting themselves on the board nice and early. And of course, every round on the T side of Inferno is so valuable to try and get yourself across the line. And you know, now they'll be able to buy into this one. Some AKs and MAC 10s, always a favorable little gun setup to rush B, but it looks like they might take the bomb A this time. They found some favor there in the first round. They look to do it again, but that could be a good HE. Really good utility damage, but doesn't do quite as much damage as what I thought. And it will be Monash returning serve, cleaning out the mid. They know the last 2 players are there. The last player in NYX. And Nyx, he will fall, and that's going to be the second round on the board for Monash fairly easily. And without much sweat broken. So a good round again, a pretty blitz play. You know, it looks like UOW, they were trying to get that round over and done with, get the rifles in their hand, which they will.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to be seeing quite a fair bit, of course, coming out from that as the players will be getting back in and just getting themselves set up once more now with the full buy coming through. UOW Red going to be just playing a bit passive with these M4s as we start to see the early push coming out from Sunshines. Danny Serb to fall down nice and early there as Nico will retaliate. Playing around from the fountain position, but Neo will be able to trade back and make it a 4-on-3 as the side completely falls under siege by the T side. You're going to be seeing 80k as well, just trying to get the spray transfer done, although that assist will come by way of a team kill there. Nyx getting a little bit too trigger happy.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate team kill one that's going to probably cost them the round, to be honest with you. It was a winnable one up until that point, but with that team kill, bring it to the 3v1, it was just a task far too unachievable. So that we'll see a three round lead now in the hands of Monash. Valuable 3-round lead, of course, as I just alluded to earlier. Every round on this T side is so valuable. It goes such a long way to giving yourself an opportunity to secure out the half and kind of have a bit of a strong leaning heading into the CT side where statistically it is the favorable side of Inferno. So it'll be interesting to see how many rounds on the board Monash can get. But UOW, a lot of pressure here. You know, they have the Deagles. It's not a round that's going to go without some fight. If they can get a couple of picks here and get some rifles in their hands, a good way to go to win the round. And Dan doing the work there, just getting a nice little clean 1 dig. I wish I could do those in my face at matches, Luther.
I hit a couple earlier tonight. It's always kind of satisfying when you have some of those shots connect like that, especially in quick succession as this peak comes through. Danny Serb going to be very happy to collect that nice little kill there. You're going to be seeing Sunshines just swapping out that AK there, throwing the extra rifle out away from the map so that the UOW players on Eco not going to be able to retrieve that one so easily. Maybe if they had a HE or something to lob over to knock it back, perhaps, but seems like that rifle will be tossed aside as Mega trying to regroup after losing 80k early on. We will see the bomb just getting chucked back a little bit by Ineo as they start to take control again over towards that top of Banana there. We'll be seeing that smoke coming through there from Sunshines over towards CT. Flash as well to pop over as the team starts to swing out. 3 players getting ready to entry towards the site and spot some players. Nico to fall down first.
Yeah, it's a bit play now coming in towards this B side, and again, coming fairly easier here for Monash, who will get the bomb down and is already into the 5v or 4v3 rather. Deegs on deck, but Chalk's able to get one there. Now just on to Juba and Nix to try and get something, trying to recover, but you know, this was the quality thinking of Monash. They didn't see if that right there, if they hadn't have tossed that AK-47 away earlier on Banana, Sunshines wouldn't be able to get that, but now it's just stuck with the Deegs and all left on Juba.
Ooh.
Who does get 2, but even the task feels like it might be a bit too out of reach, and it was, but not without really good fight.
God, what an unbelievable shot as well with that collat from the Deagle.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It was, just absolutely clean, and it takes such discipline to use the Deagle, and that's the reward you get if you are disciplined with it.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose the stars aligning as the players also very much so aligning there, very much just absolutely what you want to see there. But even still, UOW still going to be taking the L on that one. Mega now up 4-0 as they're hoping to try and push through and secure themselves a 5th round in a row, as well as that, trying to win another one of those buy rounds as the CT side, now having reinvested all of their money, really needing to get this one in order to get some rounds on the board. This is really where they can pick up their momentum. It really has to start with a round like this. It's a perfect position for them, but Mega, they've got some great positioning as well, and they're going to be trying to take it over towards mid, but Nix on the other side will be able to strike back with one.
Yeah, so it is the 5v4 right now. This is a great opportunity for UOW to try and get something happening here. They have the numbers advantage. They have the double AWP set up, 3 M4s on deck. If they can just hold out this push from Monash, it would be enough not to reset their economy. They'll be able to buy into the next one, but it will at least be enough just to slow them down and take the momentum out of this attack. Inferno, such a snowball map, and Juba getting a really good one there. A nice little flash coming in from the teammate does the job. Juba going to look to take some more apartments control here. I was just getting some confirmation from our admin that this Sunshines is the one that plays a couple of different tier 1 Australian tournaments, which is pretty cool. It's nice to see that sort of talent playing here in the AEL. Luther, as Chox breaks out there and gets one, but Nico returns serves.
Yeah, same with 80k as well. He's been on quite a number of those teams, bouncing around those Rooster rosters and on Paradox as well. So certainly quite a display of talent, of course, on the Mega side. Certainly some of these heavy hitters that we do love to see in the server, of course. Sunshine certainly trying to prove his worth as one of those heavy hitters, but will get shut down in the end as Statsy Juba. Last one standing for UOW will be able to make the retake happen, stop that bomb plant from going down, manage to re-secure the Beast site, and secure themselves their first round. And like I was saying earlier, definitely one that they needed to kick off with, because just not having that buy round down, not being able to find those after losing a few of those rounds when you're investing, that's really where that momentum can build up for your opponent. So being able to stop that now before it gets a bit too late, certainly a good thing. We're also seeing that Mega having to reinvest means their economy's not too great either. So very much an even footing for both of these teams. Even despite that scoreline, UOW in a great position to set themselves up for some more rounds here, but Mega trying to knock them down as well, and they'll be able to start with that.
Yeah, I mean, taking the big green out play straight away is always a nice play, and it's only the Famous But Chalk's just going to deal with that easy as you like, and then Juba not able to get one either, and it's already the 5v2. And this is the confidence that Mega are playing with right now. Just absolutely running through the UOW defense, and it's pretty painful right now. They had the opportunity to break the economy of Mega, but unfortunately it's looking like this might just be a bit more of an economy building session with 5 members still left up. It's going to be a save round coming in for Dan and Nico. So look, a lot going on there. I was getting my Counter-Strike players confused there. Is that Nico and Nico? Same sort of quality, but here will come the bomb. Shock's bringing that bomb for Mega eventually, and they're going to get that down and just watch this time tick away, as there's no intention from UOW to try and contest this one. In fact, it will be the T side going hunting, looking to take the guns out of their hands. Sunshine's around every day of the week. He'd back himself to get these ones, but not this time, as that will be one on the board. And now that's a good little fight back from the CTs, but it's all now down to Nico, who needs to try and keep this M4A1S and heads down and not even give away a peep that they might be towards this B site. Really dangerous times for the CTs.
Yeah, and ADK certainly looking to go hunting as well. Manages to secure a 4th kill there. Of course, you know, one of these players certainly to watch out for. The player who formerly played on the Rooster roster, of course, which, you know, the core of that became Paradox, and really have established themselves at the top of this kind of Australian Counter-Strike scene in terms of other competitions, in terms of just wider than the University League. So definitely bringing a lot of that outside experience, being able to bring it into a competition such as this to represent his university, of course. And now we're going to be seeing UOW backed up none other than by pistols here. 5 Deagles to work with, as they're going to just try and get up nice and aggressive over towards this Apps position here. Nick's managing to find that 1 kill, but Neo managing to find 2 back, and managing as well to take that control over towards the A side. Statsy will be able to hit a nice little wallbang there with his Deagle to finally get that 1 kill, but still a 2-on-3, and UOW shut out of the side.
Yeah, it's the quality of utility usage of Mega right now. It seems to be hurting UOW quite significantly. Not able to really get much going. The flashes have been excellent. The smokes have been beautiful. Look, Dan's starting to go through, recovers that AK in apartments, but Nico will be taken out by ADK. You never miss those ones at this level of Counter-Strike, and it does bring it down to the 3v1. That AK probably needs to be saved, but could come into a bit of a counter here, and it will be ADK cleaning up once again. Just like they did last round, again, secures the last kill of the round, and that puts a 6 on the board for Mega. And this T side continues to build, and the momentum really falling favorably towards Mega, and the economy looking really, really strong. This is another buy round, and again, UOW opting in for this double AWP setup. It's a heavy investment, but one, if you run the gambit and succeeds, it's a beautiful result. But one, if you lose, it's so costly. And we saw that earlier with their economy. So look, round number 8 underway, and this is a really integral round for UOW to try and return serve and get some momentum back in their favor.
Yeah, certainly is important for them to try and take things back around here, and it'll be interesting to see how that double AWP setup goes for them, because obviously that is quite the expensive investment, having to spend down to their last dollars, and, well, potentially losing a player here, certainly it could be rough. We do see some damage being done onto Danny as ADK goes very much so loud and fast over towards B, just swimming back around as we see Danny trying to take advantage of the gap in the smoke, but instead the 2 players posted on it will be able to win that encounter there and find that duel in their favor. And now Mega, having that player, that numbers advantage, will be able to try and make their way back out, but in doing so, Juba as well will be able to strike back with a kill onto Neo, as well as on Jocks, as they try to establish themselves towards the top of mid, but aren't able to stay there long enough. Juba in a great position to strike, but will get traded back around, so things keeping mostly even, although Kevin dropping from the balcony there to try and take this side won't go quite as planned. Nick's still able to hold on to A for now, leaving 2 players on the Mega side to try and take control towards this side if possible, or maybe try and take that bomb around through CT and lay it towards B.
And they just continue to run through, but this is an opportunity here for Nyx. If they can just get 1 here, at least give the opportunity for the 1v1, it might just be enough, and the HE grenade is spectacular, absolutely sublime, and it's all down the Sunshines. You know, I've watched this young fella so many times in the recent months. I've seen these positions before where he wins them, but not this time. Nick's ice cold gets the job done. A really important hold, but it was a costly fall for the CTs. They got the round win, but they only saved 1 AWP and 1 AK-47, but that might just be enough to keep the door open for them to keep creeping their way through.
I mean, the biggest thing there from Nyx definitely was that utility usage. That Molotov delayed the bomb plan even more so. That HE was just absolutely perfect there as well. So really just, you know, a lot of that good utility usage definitely shows what it can bring out. Of course, just being able to find that map control and reclaim your way back while not necessarily having to stick your head out and fight directly onward with those weapons, of course, in the head-to-head. But UOW certainly showing what strength they can bring. Even if they do lose a fair few players in that last round, they certainly do quite a good job in picking back up the pieces. Mega trying to do what they can to pick things back up for themselves, as they don't want this game to be the kind of back and forth we've seen in the last couple of rounds. They had that early advantage with that 4-0 start, and they certainly don't want to see any of that go to waste if they let their opponents get more of these consecutive rounds. We'll see the same sort of default for map controls. We'll see the two players over towards the top of Nana try and swing out, but Nico on the other side with the AWP strikes down one.
Such an important hold here. If Juba can just get one, this might be just enough. As the crossfire does get set up, Nick's able to help out there. Gets one, needs to force a way to reload. Juba good for one as well. This is a brilliant hold. Some of the best we've seen so far from the CTs, as they are able to bring it all down to ADK. He's lurking around now, coming up mid, making no secret about what they're doing, and Juba swings and finishes the job. So that's now a couple rounds on the trot for UOW, looking stronger by the round. They can continue this momentum, potentially get that 8 rounds on the board still available to them. It could go a long way to opening up that door. Like we said, there are some notable names on the side of Mega, but it's not to say UOW can't get it done, because they have forced the T side onto an eco right now, and another great opportunity to claim one more round and get themselves a 4. As they do get underway, and it looks like it will be a bit of a banana rush all down to the CTs, the AWP and the AK-47 to try and get it done. Oh, and Kevin will able to get one, but it will be the great work from Dan, getting 4, 3 with the AK, 1 with the USP, all left to ADK. Who nearly catches Juba with a molly in their hands, but Juba wraps it up, needs to go quickly recover that AWP. But a 4th round, like I said, on the board for the CTs, not able to recover that AWP, but they will be able to afford a new one heading into this round.
I mean, Danny just there, absolutely huge, but more than that as well, it was largely in part because of that CT utility as well, those HEs, those Molotovs going through, a lot of that damage being done very much so early on, before the Ts even really faced themselves and before they had a chance to swing out, already losing so much health. Certainly shows the importance of using that early round utility, but saying that, Mega as well will still find a little bit of damage just going for that head-to-head, going for that swing. That Deagle from Sunshines will do quite a fair bit of damage, but the trainer very much so there as Juba tries to lock down the site. Again, 80k. Once again, good for the refrag. We'll be able to find that kill and be able to recover some of these weapons as well. Statsy will have to be waiting on the other side, but from the balcony position, shuts down 2 players, leaving it all onto Kevin in the 1-on-2, who manages to recover the A1S, but bomb dropped in front of him, forces him to peek back out as Nico and Danny set up to hold on to the angle and manage to shut him right down. And now UOW Red certainly doing quite a lot of damage and really just finding these lockdowns here. They've had so many of these great crossfires, so much of this great site defense, and now they're only 1 round behind their opponents, who started off with a bang, but, well, just aren't showing that same spark right now.
Yes, that's what I was saying. If they could just get the momentum back in their favor, the game was totally anybody's. And, you know, with the momentum they've got right now, if they could just capitalize on it, get a couple more rounds on board, creep their way to 7 or 8, they've gone a long way to trying to win this game. Of course, there's so much riding on it. We spoke about it in the pre-game that each team so desperately wants to get themselves on the board and try and get some games available to them.
That's just such a beautiful swing.
Yeah, beautiful swing, beautiful execution, and that's what's going to get these CTs more and more rounds.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Nico just continuing that as well, just pushing further onward as we're seeing that kind of just outward CT aggression, and the communication not entirely there as well from Mayer is really, those last 2 players definitely should have been anticipating and holding for that banana push as their teammates fell over towards that angle. But I suppose just the CTs pushing in from everywhere, just a whole heap of chaos coming through. Now tied up 6-6. UOW Red gonna have the stronger buy as well as Mega really just forcing up what they can. They've got a couple of rifles here, they've got an SMG, but 2 pistols as well. Not exactly spelling confidence.
That's good issue right now, but 80k able to get 1 with the Tech 9. That recovers an 80k and then easily takes out Statsy. All down left to Nyx to try and get it done, but will be flanked in by How do you say that one? Ano?
I know.
I want to say that. Ano, there we go.
Yeah.
And that's provide a great opportunity for the T's to get back on track here and get their 7th round on the board. It'll be an impressive retake if they can get it done, these CTs, but it looks like it might be a bit out of reach. So UOW, they look like they're pretty content here to save these ones. They understand there's still a few more rounds left in this one. While we do have the time, if you are just tuning in and you want to understand what's going on with these games, oh my word, AEL are getting the job done there with the AK-47. That's as sharp as you like. But if you're just tuning in, you're not quite up to date with what the significance is. If Mega wins at least one of the 2 maps tonight, they're guaranteed a playoff spot. But if they win both of these, they'll get the first seed into Group D heading into playoffs, which, you know, Luth, that's an integral one to have. And if UOW win both of these games, they will be seed 2. Look, there's a lot riding on this one, an important couple of maps coming up. Mega, they want that seed 1. You know, they really want that seed 1, so we'll have to see how this plays out. You know, it's one thing to make the playoffs, but another one to have the top seed. Just provide you a bit of an easier game in your first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, certainly both the teams having a lot to fight for here, of course. That playoffs position definitely hotly contested by both sides here who have a chance to run for it. And very much so a chance to break into those top seeds as well and try and take out that top slot of Group D. And we are going to be seeing quite a lot of contention over towards that A site there, as Mega will be bringing their way back around to try and take it, but instead taking their push back over towards CT. Danny will just be smoking that side to try and play a nice little angle there, and we'll be able to find that 1 kill as well, or actually, rather, AEL able to find that 1 kill to shut him down, as not quite going to be fooled by that smoke, of course. Kind of give it away a bit, but Nico may be able to hide amongst the shadows there, and Dark will be able to find that 1, but the side of his body peeking out over towards that coffin side will get the best of him. Stati now the last player standing. And again, just to be very clear as well, if UOW take both of these maps as well, Mega will not be qualifying, so they need at least 1. This is do or die for them, as it is as well for UOW.
Absolutely, and that's what makes these games so good. You know, this isn't just any sort of game. This is a game that carries so much weight, as we can't stress enough. As UOW will be forced to save this M4A1S one more time. It's going to be an 8-7 scoreline at least at the bare minimum for Mega heading into this one, but there's a great opportunity for Mega to maybe get 1 more here on the T side. If you can steal 9 on the T, Luther, it's just so valuable. You know, every round you get on T side Inferno is great, but 9 is really, really good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's kind of just what you want, right? You just want to be able to give yourself the best sort of opportunity, the best possibility to go into the next half, of course. UOW, I think even with 6 heading into a T-pistol round, certainly not a poor performance. Mega securing themselves the advantage at the half, certainly got to be good, but they definitely can extend it by that 1 as well, so both teams certainly having even more to fight for to close off this half. We're going to be seeing mostly just a push over towards A as we start to see the rush come out here. Kevin just lurking a bit behind with that AWP. We'll try and find an angle onto one of these players, but for the most part, the CT's playing a little bit further back, not really advancing, as Mega also just reconsidering their approach as the mid-round call made to just slowly walk back down over towards that bottom of mid and maybe take some control over towards Banana.
Love this patience from Mega. They're not willing to overcommit, but 80k on this lurk could get caught out by Jubit, but does get the gun duel win there. And that brings us to the 8-6 scoreline, 5v4, and a lot of pressure on the CTs to try and make this hold on B. And Juba, Danny able to get 1 each, and that provides the avenue open now for Mega to potentially stumble at the line, but Sunshine's ice cold gets 1 there. All down to Statsy and Nyx to try and get this retake done. They have a bit to work with here as far as utility. 1 flash, 1 HE, Sunshine's and AEL both low. So this is achievable. If one of those HE grenades lands really well, it's a great opportunity, but oh, Nyx and Statsy coming and breaking the site wide open, and they get it done. They don't even need the HE grenade, just the flash to get it done, and a beautiful retake. And that's going to be our first half over and done with for map number 1. It will be UOW Esports Red claiming the last round, getting themselves to 7 on the CT side. They won't be disappointed with that. But they have to wonder, maybe there's a couple more left in the bank. But, you know, 16th round. UOW, they have to try and get themselves on the T side now. Try and get a couple here early. Get the momentum back in their favor. The T side on Inferno just snowballs if you can get it heading your way. So I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, very excited to see, of course, how this one goes. This match so far being quite close between both of these sides, but now we're going to be seeing who can establish themselves early on in the second half here. We're just going to be seeing UOW go for a quick push over towards A. Kevin. We can try and strike with those dualies, but we'll be forced to back away. Not looking to try and tempt fate and push into the stack of T's on the other side. It's going to be quite evident hearing all those footsteps pushing through how many there truly are as we see the trades come back and forth. Kevin will find one, but Shocks will fall down as Neo will push behind as well as ADK to try and get back onto that side as quickly as possible. And their attempt certainly succeeding, although Juba fighting them back off it as well will be able to find that one kill, but without the bomb, it's going to be quite difficult to get that plant down. Sunshine's in a perfect position to swing out. Here's the push come up, but not quite hitting those shots. It's going to be on ADK, who manages to hit it all and take the round away. Just some absolute sharp shooting there, as both sides really just fighting it all out, as it really goes for quite the back and forth for control over that A site.
Yeah, set them up like the clay pigeons, to say the least. 9-7 UOW. They desperately needed that one, as I alluded to, but weren't able to do it. And that provides a bit of a headache. They do have a Tech 9 and a couple of Glocks to work with to try and get something happening here. Juba's going to need to do some serious work with that Desert Eagle in hand, you have to imagine. But the CT set up with the MP9s, the FAMAS, the 2 M4s. It's going to be a hard wall to break through, to say at least that. But look, T side, if they can just get a couple of picks here, get something in their hands, maybe the avenue's open a little bit. Kevin lured in there and nearly takes some heavy damage, but gets away, saving their life and the rifle, of course. So it is that 5v5.
We'll be able to get away. ADK will be able to make sure Juba does not, however, and Statsy won't be able to either. Just pushing through that 1 HP now reduced to 0, and Kevin doing some more damage. Some of it on the other team, some of it on his teammate, but ADK certainly hungry for more, trying to go for that ace. It will drop down over towards Lois to find those last 2 kills, but he's finally taken away, so won't be able to complete the 5, but will be able to at least contribute to taking the round, and now putting his team over towards double digits. 10-7, as we're starting to see that lead being broken out by Mega, but UOW hungry to try and reclaim it and to tie things back up.
So the AKs now, this is an important round. If they can try and just get something here, they need to get some momentum heading their way, but the swing, the lack of respect from the CTs right now, pushing down Banana ADK. I'm not sure they know he's here, but he's given away his position, but it doesn't matter. He gets one, gets away. Juba able to get one as well. FAMAS, 2 M4s and MP9 to work with for the CTs. Plenty of Henri, if you ask me, heading into this A or B side. It doesn't matter. It's a 2-2 split right now. Bomb is over towards A, but hasn't totally committed just as of yet. It's on the opposite side of the apartments. Somewhere you want to keep it as long as you're not willing to commit to the site. But they do need to make a decision somewhat soon. But the minute 9 left in the clock, they continue to creep around. Sunshine's sitting in library, gets swung on by Danny, but then backs away. That MP9 is not the gun you want to be taking those fights on Archers with, but continues to take the aggro anyway. Might be able to get one there as a duel in library does get underway. The smokes now come through from Nico. Sunshines continues to provide a headache here for the T side, but Danny through the wall gets done. And then Neo able just to at least for a little bit longer stay alive, but Juba comes through with that AK-47, provides the opportunity to take the bomb towards B, but there will be the last, or one of the members at least, in ADK waiting, the danger man in ADK, and you got to feel Nico understands there might be one there, but ADK not expecting the around the world treatment, and that will do the trick. And it's all down the chocks, coming through with the FAMAS, able to get one. This is getting very scary now for UOW.
Certainly is. Chocks trying to get back to the site there, but on 2 HP, will pretty well not be able to do it. It's definitely going to be quite a challenge, and probably one that's a bit too insurmountable there, so Chox will just be backing away to save that AK, as well as the armor and the kits are certainly quite a fair bit to take into the next round, although that being said, their teammates not really going to be able to bring forth anything to the table going into the next one, as the economy not looking too great for that CT side, just not really having the money to buy up, although maybe Chox can buy one gun here or there, maybe get something, maybe some pistols for the rest of the team, who knows, but either way, no matter what goes into the next round, this one will be concluded with that bomb going off, of course, for UOW Red. Being able to take themselves now to round number 8, and we are going to be seeing the rebuy come out for some of those players who went down in that previous round, but so far the T-side economy looking quite good, as they're looking to try and bring their way back into this one as best as they can, and really try and catch up to that lead that their opponents set towards the start of this half. Certainly not an insurmountable one, only 2 rounds ahead. Mega still going to have to try and fight for control over this map, see what they can bring to the table.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Juba didn't buy Statsy, they're just trying to save the AWP. I'm not too sure, but we'll have to use the Glue on 7. Juba does make the breakthrough with that M4A1S, taking out 1. There's the 3 stack over towards this A side. Not really where the T side should be shaping up, but they don't know that. They don't have any clue, but ADK will fall. Neo will fall as well. Sunshine's over towards this B side. Oh, Jiggling takes out Statsy. My word, we've seen some beautiful shots with the Desert Eagle so far tonight. As Kevin able to get one as well, and they are proving to be a real headache. And this is all of a sudden a 2v2. Rifles recoverable for this CT side. This could get really scary if they're not careful here, UOW. They need to get this round, but they've opened up the avenue just enough to give Mega a chance.
I love that little smoke coming out there from Kevin. Just a really great progression smoke, but not going to do him any favors once he steps out of it. Danny able to catch up onto that 1 kill, but Sunshine's finding the trade, and now just having to find the last player, but Nick's playing perfectly behind the cover.
Oh, no.
Will he check the right side? Though, will be taken down to 2 HP, but that's Eagle not quite connecting to the head, not quite doing enough damage, just leaving him alive on just enough to hold down the spray and manage to find it in the end for the fatal shot. Mega almost claiming that one back on the weaker buy, but only down to a few points of health, will go the way of UOW instead. That's not a good start.
No, never a good start. But like I said, that was really scary for the T side before I saw the retake coming in, and it got a lot scarier. But Juba only able to get 1. I'm not sure what's weirder, Juba pushing that or Chox using a CZ, but he gets another one and takes out Nico. And all of a sudden, that's a 3v4, heavy tagged on Statsy. And that creates real problems now for UOW, who need to try and get every round at the moment. They have the momentum heading their way, but they're slowly letting it slip, and it's just the absolute spray down coming through the smoke. Statsy, you've got to imagine, needs to get 2 here. Two's the pass mark, does a bit of damage there on a Neo. And there is no fight coming through Banana, so Nick's watching that in vain, unfortunately, and another good bit of utility usage. Oh, and Danny, that's a kill in no matter what world you're looking in. Headshots all around with the AK-47s. Nick's getting in on the action too. And there will be Kevin trying to get some work done there with the Desert Eagle, but they have recovered this from the dust, UOW. They looked like they were going to lose this round just by the sheer way of how the CTs were fighting back, but they've ended up this round closing it out very confidently, and a 10th on the board for them. And this T side looking very strong for both sides so far throughout this matchup.
Yeah, both sides looking quite strong so far, as you said. I mean, right now, Mega, look, they've had that really strong CT side for the most part, you know, in some of these rounds, but UOW as well have been able to match that effort. They were looking really strong in the defense in that first half, but now on the offense, just looking quite as good as well. Both sides just really wanting this map because, again, there is quite a lot riding on it. Of course, the playoffs position in contention for both of these teams. It's in sight for both of them. They're both very much so in a position to be able to take it. And that is what they're ultimately going to be fighting over, trying to get that best seed possible as well. So certainly a lot here.
Try not to get eliminated.
Yeah, that definitely being the case for Mega as well. So they need to win at least one again. So Mega, they're going to be just playing pretty passive on this one as UOW establish control over towards Banana. We see that early utility come through, but instead, they'll just be swinging back over towards mid where they're getting ready for the setup.
I mean, if I'm Mega right now, I'm feeling pretty nervous about what's happening. You know,
100%.
it was all heading our way on the T side, and there's a good fight back there from ADK, but it was all heading their way on the T side, right? And then slowly, since like towards the end of that first half, they started to lose the momentum. It was a good fight back from UOW. As the push comes through, Stats able to get one, gets caught there on the cart, and then Sunshine's able to get two, but will be eventually taken out by Nick. So it is the 3v2. Numbers still in favor of Mega here. They need to close this one out. They can't afford to be eliminated after the way they started this map. They started so strong. And that is all the info Chocks needed. The molly damage, ADK routing that one out. So it will be an 11th round, but I'm feeling nervous if I'm Mega right now, if that's to say the least.
Yeah, definitely feeling pretty nervous if you're in that position, of course. But Mega, look, they have that kind of breath of relief, of course. They just... they are able to at least just relax themselves a little bit, being able to find that round and break the tie in their favor, of course, albeit still being only ahead by that one and still not quite being such a... Well, definitely not a round that just went easy for them, of course. UOW definitely fighting on, but now, of course, with their economy a little bit worse off on the T side, Mega certainly setting themselves up with that round to try and take some more and try and just extend that lead and surpass their opponents. You're seeing UOW still just playing another slow default, mostly over towards B, where we'll see some of that late CT utility come through. The flash and the smoke over from ADK as iNeo will play over towards CT to just try and catch any players off the push through, looking to just try and work that crossfire together, but so far, nothing really needed to work together as no players really getting spotted, well, with the exception of that player in Boiler there. You see that really nice positioning coming out there from, I believe that was Sunshine's, now backing off over towards that pit position. UOW, a bit uncertain of where they want to commit themselves.
Oh, this is huge. Wow, what a little jump up there from Kevin, just getting the one-way heading and able to take off the head of Juba. So it does bring it to that 4v5. It's cheeky stuff like that that can win you rounds. Just using your utility to work around the map how you like. You know, one of the best players in the world, I think, at using their utility to work it in their favor is someone like Simple. But ADK able to get one there. AEL able to get one as well. Danny return serve, but it's all falling apart. The CTs again have found a return serve and pushed the pressure back on UOW Red. It look like they might let this round slip from their hands once more. But Nico good for one, but only one, and ADK wraps it up.
Nice little sharp shot at least, and again, being able to take any guns out of the CT side is certainly advantageous, but when you've got 80k going into this next round with 6k and already having a rifle and utility carried out from the last, certainly is a recoverable situation for Mega as they now are able to extend their lead by an extra round and even have an extra rifle as well sitting in their spawn as UOW not quite having a surplus, rather quite the deficit indeed as far as their economy is concerned, only down to these pistols. They're just going to be trying to take control wherever they can, trying to take damage wherever they're able to. We're also seeing that aggression coming out as Kevin and Shocked managing to find those kills, being able to take away 3 of those players from the UOW side, leaving it all onto Statsy and Juba to try and reclaim anything else. They have found some of those heavy tags. Kevin and Shocks down in that red zone there, 15 and 5 health respectively. But definitely a lot more damage being dealt rather than received for that CT side.
Yeah, and that's the 13th round for Mega. So I said I was feeling nervous for them, but I'm feeling pretty confident for them right now. They're looking strong here since they've got a bit of momentum heading their way. Rifles in hand. Interesting they haven't opted in for the big green so far throughout the CT side. They seem pretty happy just running the rifles. You know, I would have liked to see one come out somewhere around that mid position. It just provides that impact that long, and it can be so damaging early. You know, maybe that early mid peak or that early banana peak can be so damaging to a T side trying to get any sort of map control. But you know, it seems to be working for them so far. The 5 rifles set up. Will it continue to work? Well, that's only going to be time telling. As the T side look a little bit lost right now, and this is what happens when a CT side gets up in your grill and you aren't able to take any space. You start to feel like you're standing with concrete shoes, not really able to get any map control. You know, if UOW Red keep staying like this for too much longer, they're going to run out of time and be able to be in a position where they have to force something that's not really there, and that can be a really costly position for them, especially with the economy as damaged as it is.
100%. And I was going to say as well, like, If they wanted to bring up that AWP, certainly would make a lot of sense, but I think that they had all those rifles going into the round, especially so many as they bought. They're really just holding on and banking on that position that even if they lose this round with no loss bonus behind them, that they'll have that money to be able to rebuy up. Whereas if they, went for that investment with the AWP, despite already having the M4 on their back and, not having it to necessarily reinvest, it kind of was a wise decision to perhaps maybe just hold off on that. But maybe if we see one of these players with a lot of money go down, we might see an AWP come out. I think that would be probably a situation that makes a bit more sense for them. UOW trying to make sense of this situation right now, bringing their way back over towards B again, just grouping up for the exec as we start to see the smokes coming through. We see that coffin smoke from Danny, we see the CT smoke come out, and the flashes are raining down as well, but 80k going unchecked, lets 3 players pass, and manages to find one of them. Will have to back away though, as the flash is going to be very good, but look at the time, only 5 seconds left. Kevin will be trying to push through to deny that plan, but will be denied from that opportunity there, as Mega attempting to crash back onto the side in the midst of things to try and stop UOW from getting that bomb down in time, will indeed just drop numbers. And Monash, Mega now able to just try and find their way back in, but going to be ultimately shut out of it.
And looking really good here. This, I was a bit critical of UOW Red that they were taking too much time, but it seems to have paid dividends. But I'm not sure they could get away with that too many more times. You'd have to imagine running the clock down to, I think, what they had half a second left by the time the bomb got down, left of room. So yeah, it's good to use all your clock, but probably not that much. I think it's fair. We can agree on Luther, but 11-13, a good fight back. So it opens the door again, but the buy round has come through from the CTs, and they weren't able to afford that AWP like we were talking about. That might have been so useful to have on this side. So despite winning all those rounds, the economy's still not that strong, but nonetheless, full utility, full rifles on deck. And that smoke, again, it just provides a bit of hesitation for the Ts to look to press up any further, and it shuts down and just allows more room for the CTs on the A site area, on the brackets, or whether it be towards Boiler Diggity. And it will be Danny pushing out and getting one there with the AK-47. Will fall on the mini pit and has a bit of control here, flanked behind the 2 CTs, who are now forced to look 2 different angles at once, and that might be just enough apprehension to offer an opportunity to get onto the side, but they're just going to push in Danny here, and that's going to be the end, and it just evens the numbers back up, and oh my words, Sunshines gets another.
I mean, that was just so much map control there from Danny, but they had to act on it quick, and they just didn't. If UOW, I think, had pushed out as soon as he'd been able to get himself down towards Pit there and gone for the swing together over towards Diggity, being able to play it with a player behind and in front of those remaining CTs, that certainly could have been a way to open things up. But UOW, I think, just not making or acting on the mid-round call quick enough, and will be forced to take another approach, now down by a player as Mega able to hold on to that numbers advantage 4-on-3, although Sunshine's still tagged down quite low. But UOW, they will be able to press on with this B site, having worked out for them in the past. They're hoping that it can again in this round. See the 2 players over on CT side, just behind that smoke over towards the CT spawn. We'll see if they can do some damage. Well, the crossfire certainly shredding through the T side attack, as that bomb being dropped in the smoke will force Nix to push right back into it. But Ineo able to find that one, as Mega holding onto that site, not even having to see their opponents, just having the right angles through the smoke to get it done.
Yeah, I suppose that's what I was just trying to say before. They ran down the clock so heavily in that last round and it worked, but it was something you can only get away with a couple times before it comes back to bite you, and that time it did come back to bite them. And like you said, all that map control taken from Danny, but this is the apprehension that we've seen from UOW so far throughout this matchup, as they just seem like they get the opportunities, but they aren't able to capitalize them. They feel a bit scared to press on them, but Danny again provides the impact kill. Been very good in that so far throughout this matchup. 11-14 the scoreline. It is a 5v4, but look at all the players tagged up for UOW Red. That just makes it so hard to get onto a site, especially when you're coming up against an incendiary grade, or maybe a couple of flashes where you're blind and all it takes is a couple bullets to see you later. Provide a bit of a headache, and it's just things you don't need. Statsy rocking that scout, 3 AKs and the M4A1S, where it is 3 M4s and an AK for the CTs, looking to hold on and try and stop, but the map control continues to fall. This is some of the best map control we've seen so far from UOW throughout this matchup. Can they capitalize?
Well, they're certainly hoping to. Mega will have those players still firmly positioned over towards that pit angle and towards mini pit as well, but the utility being really good from the T side as well. They've taken some blows by util, but they're managing to do a bit as well with that nice little HE coming through, and Shocks being the last one standing on the side will be able to take that one on to Nico, but ultimately will also take that loss as Danny drops back down and finds it there. Now 4-on-2, UOW having themselves that position over towards the side. Mega, there's nothing else they can do but save into this one, because right now UOW really just running the show there. They should have probably, I'd say, enough money to be able to go for another rebuy, because 80k will have that extra money coming through and maybe be able to drop on. Sunshine should have enough as well to buy themselves, and we might have to see maybe a little bit of a force coming out from maybe that last player in Kevin or Chox, but either way, around there, it'll be a buy, but it definitely could be a buy, rather, but it'll be a bit of a hard to scrape together one. Lucky for these CTs that they do manage to save these 2 rifles, because that does at least give them a fighting opportunity to go for this next round. But UOW, having secured that last one, are just looking so strong right now. If they're able to carry that momentum forward and kind of push Mega back in towards this kind of economic reset position, again, their backs up against the wall against the CT economy, that certainly could be a run to try and take this map here. We're pushing into that later end of regulation. Now every round really is mattering so much.
Oh, Sunshine's got a free one there. Juba just not even expecting it. That's a little bit of an opportunity here, but I understand you've been given valuable information that Monash do not have a dedicated AWPer. So Mega do not have a dedicated AWPer. That's why we've yet to see the big green come out for them on the CT side. Unlike UOW Red, where we saw it come out in doubles each time we saw it. You know, double AWP set up each time they had the opportunity for UOW Red. But Mega, they don't have the dedicated rifle, sniper rifle user. But Shox, he doesn't need one of those. He'll just get it done with the AK-47, taking down another member here of UOW Red. This makes that push a little bit harder. Util flying in. They need to go. They need to capitalize before the rotate comes in. But it's a 3-stack setup. Nick's getting one there, but 80k returning serve. Can they get a couple more? Oh, 80k. Just getting it done. And Statsy finally breaking back, but 7 HP against 2 players, Sunshine and Kevin. This is going to be a tough one, and I can't imagine this mountain's even that climbable for Statsy, but maybe if he gets one here, well, it's an opportunity. And I think at this point, the bomb can't even be part of his thinking. He just needs to get the kill. I'm not sure that Gaven knows it's there. How much pressure?
He's definitely seen it now. He's got the angle for it. Kevin.
Oh, Statsy.
Yeah, that's perfect there. Mega now able to get themselves to that final round. Really nice attempt coming out from Statsy in the end. But certainly just kind of being that thing where once he found those two there, you would kind of hope that he'd go for the plant straight away, or maybe that's sort of where a lot of players would try and go for it. But very interesting approach overall, just being kind of unsure as well as to what sides were clear and where he could really play around, so being a bit difficult in that one. But Mega, well, they've certainly had it a little bit easier now being able to find that one. Economy's still not great for either side, as we see only 4 rifles on each team. But we will be able to see that early damage coming out from the Mega side, as we see Danny Serp and Juba already tagged down quite a fair bit by those HEs.
Mega on the precipice of making their way through to the playoffs. They just need to win one more round to get themselves at least through the playoffs, but win the next one, they're getting first seed. So it's a bit of a duality of Counter-Strike right now, as Kevin just dancing around. This flash could be brilliant, but Juba shows some patience, not the push, but Chox with a dig. It's been a bit of a highlight of this series so far as the Desert Eagle, as Nico returns serve with that one as well. So it's a bit of a fight off with the Desert Eagles, and it looks like Kevin will push around and get a couple there. And it's all left now down to Statsy to try and take this to a 29th round. You got to imagine you just can't see it happening, but I'd love to see it.
Be very interesting to see what he could do.
Yeah, working their way through library. Yeah, absolutely. But with no utility and just an AK-47, Sunshines will shut it down. That will be the end of that one. 16-12 the scoreline. And Mega, they get it done. They not only secure themselves through the playoffs, but they hold off the opportunity for UOW Red to continue to pursue their way up the seedings.
An absolutely massive performance from some of those Mega players as well. ADK hitting the 30 kills at the end and the 110 ADR to round it out as well. As you can see some of those stats still on the screen. But wow, definitely quite the performance, of course, coming out. Mega able to close in the end, but UOW just looking so strong, particularly on their first CT side half, and then being able to put up quite the performance on that T side. Definitely one of the closer games that we've seen in quite a bit, I think. That has definitely been just one of those back and forths, one of those maps where it felt like realistically either team were in quite the position to be able to take that one away. It felt like, well, it's certainly going to be quite interesting to see who will be able to take away our second map. But before we get to that point, we are going to be going for a short break. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AEL University League, week number 7, of course, getting ready for our map number 2 of this fantastic series we've had tonight, of course, with UOW Red versus Mega. It's been quite the exciting series thus far, with that map number 1 just narrowly going the way of Mega 16-12. But now, with that map number 2, after Mega having secured themselves a final slot, they're hoping as well to secure themselves that top seed in their group to try and give themselves the best possible positioning, of course, to go forth in the playoffs bracket. Of course, I'm joined once again by the lovely Charisma. Lockie, how'd you feel about that first map?
Yeah, I thought it was a really exciting map on Inferno. Probably, yeah, Inferno always offers up some exciting gameplay generally, and sometimes it's a bit of a one-way affair, and you're like, oh, you know, maybe it wasn't so exciting to watch, but not that one. It really offered so many different twists and turns. You know, one moment, one team had the momentum, and then the other team grabbed it, and it was a very back and forth affair, and it makes for a really exciting map number 2. Of course, there was a lot of pressure on map number 1 for Monash to get that win and get themselves into the playoffs. but now they have the opportunity to win map 2 here on Dust and get themselves to seed number 1, where UOW Red, they have the opportunity to win this one and get themselves to seed number 2. And if they get to that seed 2, I believe it'll be Swinburne ahead of them in seed 1. So look, there's a lot to play for still. This is far from a dead rubber sort of map. There's a lot on the line. Both teams desperately will want to win this one, providing them a really great opportunity heading into the playoffs.
So have gotten a update as to how that is. So UOW apparently, as per the standings, are not able to qualify for the playoffs anymore. They needed that first map, and I think they actually needed both to be able to qualify. So in that case, quite unfortunate, but Mega certainly having a lot to play for, of course, and UOW certainly still wanting to put on the best show in their final game for the season, of course. Definitely still having a fair bit to play for as far as just showing that one, but Mega, they'll be taking the first seed if they're able to take this one out. Otherwise, they'll be able to secure that second position, that second seed slot at the top of Group D. As we start to head into playoffs, of course, it's going to be quite interesting to see out of these groups, out of these top teams that have come forth, who is going to be able to take out this season and really show themselves on top, of course. And as we get underway with this next map, we are just waiting on one more player, so we'll have another exciting map this time around. It's going to be on Dust 2. We're going to be seeing quite the eager Mega ready to get into this next one.
Yeah, so Mega, they're through. We know that. We know they're through to the playoffs. If they win, it's first seed. If they lose this map on Dust, they'll be going into second seed. So, look, favorable position nonetheless, of course. But first seed always sounds nice. It's a nice little flex to have over your competition that you were the best in your group across the season. So, look, Dust, it's an important one. Luther, if we look at Dust, it's one of those maps like your Mirages and your Infernos. It's been played so many times by so many different teams in so many different ways that you can fall into the trap of overanalyzing how a team's going to play it, when sometimes you've just got to call a spade, and teams get into their own head a bit, I feel like.
Yeah, 100%. It's just that matter of being able to get things right and sorted, of course. I mean, you definitely cannot overanalyze things when it comes to this, because ultimately you can theorycraft as much as you want going into a game of CS, but ultimately it comes down to how the teams will play on the day and how everyone is faring. But also in terms of that, you know, we're seeing some of these sort of looser approaches from these university teams, because generally we tend to see that sort of thing where we see these mixed teams come together, a lot of people playing, you know, a lot for that kind of social aspect of playing with some people from the university, from all different aspects, from all different kind of experience levels, being able to come into a league like this, of course, certainly is, you know, the quite fun thing to have come through, of course. And you know, definitely if you're a Counter-Strike player at university and you're not signed up to an AEL team this season, definitely be sure to keep an ear out, of course, for when the sign-ups for the next season roll around, of course. Being sure to follow AU Esports League on all social media, your Twitter, your TikTok, your Facebook as well. Being sure to just tune in and make sure you get the latest and greatest of news, because there's so many competitions coming out from the AEL, of course. And it's just always such a great experience, of course. I played for a few seasons as well, you know, back before casting this, you know, playing for QT teams, and was always some good fun, of course. I think not great. Not great. I see our admin BK just typing in our production chat lost every time, so good thing you have the official record to remind me of my failure. But
that's okay, mate. At least you turned up.
Look, I blame Happy personally. Shoutouts to Will.
Yeah, so you should.
But yeah, we are going to be getting underway with this one momentarily. Just waiting on the ready up to come through. I think just waiting on the GoTV delay to catch up. I think players are live in the server, so just waiting for us to be able to see all that, of course. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this one goes, because Mega, they certainly want this top seed position, of course. I mean, we've kind of talked about it a lot. We've kind of hyped that up, of course, because it ultimately will still come down to, you know, who they're going to verse, of course. It decides the whole seeding of, you know, whether they'll be going up against the top group from the top team from another group, or the second top team from that group. So definitely does affect some of that positioning, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everything that happens here does have some sort of effect, but how it plays out, it's hard to see. But yeah, Dust 2. I'm interested to see how it plays. I just don't know with Dust. It's a real flip of the coin. It's not really one-sided or another. But Yeah, I'm just really interested to see. I think it's going to be a really exciting one to see. It will be UOW Red starting on the T side. They had a promising T side on Inferno towards, or for most part, T side was pretty promising. It was just Mega ran away with it towards the end. So if they can get some momentum early this time on the T side, they go a long way to getting this one. But Luther, we are getting a one underway for map number 1 on Dust, our final map of the evening, where it will be Mega vying for that number 1 seed position heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, map number 2 now underway, of course, and Sunshine's going to kick it off with a bang with that kill onto Danny Serb. And then his teammate will disconnect from the server. Not sure what has exactly happened with that. Of course, we will have our lovely admin BK just trying to put out all the fires there, of course. But we will be seeing as well just some of those kills come through. Chocs managing to find those 2. As Statsy left as the last one alive. We'll just be playing around from that long position and trying to back away. They're tapping away, but all the CTs swinging all at once. We'll be able to take that one as Mega able to get their way back on the site quite decisively. They lose 1 player to their opponents and 1 to potentially an internet connection issue or something like that. But with 3 still left in the server and alive, they managed to take out the pistol round.
Yeah, I think there's a pause coming through. Potentially not. We'll see how we go. As that will be the first round falling towards Monash or Mega. Take it as you like. Same thing, different art project. As that the timeout does come in through now. The CT is calling that one as they look to get their teammate back in the server. A Neo, I've got it right that time. ADK is here. Sunshine's here. Chocs is here. So just waiting on the last member to come back in. Not a bad start. You know, the T side, they only got the 1 kill, but they were able to get the bomb down. So there is something to kind of take home there and find some value in. But it will be an important round. If they can fight back here, they will be buying the Galils and alike. So a scout, a couple of or 3 Galils to work with. So this is a very flip of the side round, regardless of Mega winning that first one. You know, this is one of those rounds where Mega have to be careful not to be too complacent. Otherwise, it can fall out of their hands really, really quickly. As they will look to opt in for that long control once more. It's a late flash out long. Danny will be the first one to take the contact, but not going to find anyone. They are throwing their smokes out now and looking to take this long control where they will come into a bit of fight here. Of course, 1 player is not reconnected yet, so it is the 5v4. Statsy good for 1 there with the scout. Takes the head of Chocs off, and that is the A side control and an M4A1S in their hands. So a lot to work with here for the T side. Numbers before the round even started, but even more favorable numbers now.
Yeah, not looking too bad overall as far as that one goes. We are going to be seeing UOW Red just really establishing themselves on the site there. I mean, they do take some of that damage on themselves, but overall do manage to get away pretty well, as Mega will just be looking to save this one. And we do see now that they've got their player back in the server, so everything seems to have sorted itself out and being able to save those guns away. And Kevin having that money, you know, from not being in the server and having to buy up guns, will be able to at least contribute with an M4 or something of the like into the next round. So definitely not a bad position for them, but certainly not a great one either, conceding that round to UOW despite having that buy up, of course. I mean, UOW did force as well, but that being said, that advantage that you have from kicking off with that pistol round win, you certainly want to hold on to that. We are going to be seeing another quick pause come out from the CT side as well. Unsure if that is technical or tactical. Lockie, do you have any word on that from the in-game chat?
I don't think we've got anything happening too much. I think we're just having a bit of a disconnect issue by the looks of it. So, yeah, not too sure at this point. I'm hopefully not too far away. Kevin is back in the server, so that's a good start. But we are still waiting for this one to get back underway. The time is ticking down, so we must be okay to go.
He's at 800 ping.
That
might be the problem.
That's the issue, yeah.
Yeah.
So generally anything above, anything above 500 is a red flag.
I'd probably say having close to a second of ping of input latency, probably not ideal for a game like Counter-Strike. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, I think he's disconnected from the server. He's gonna have another go at reconnecting in here and see how he goes. But look, the ping was not ideal, that's to say the least. We're still just figuring this one out. And hopefully we can get Kevin back in here pretty shortly. We don't want to see the game in like this, or we don't want to see this turn into a 5v4 this quickly. But at least we know it's not a rage quit. We got something going for us there. That's always nice. But yeah, it's never ideal, as pretty much everybody else in the server is sub 20 ping, and he's coming with 800. He's at a slight disadvantage, I guess you could say.
I mean, you know, other than the fact that I don't know if you've ever played with that amount of ping, but you know, just trying to. It's good fun. It's good fun, you know, trying to move out of the spawn and just teleporting all around the place, you know, just not knowing where you're going or anything like that. Always just an absolute banger of a time. But we are still going to have this pause, of course, underway, so just waiting on that one to be sorted out. Maybe we'll just see a router reboot or something like that. You know, just your typical tech troubleshooting, you know, turn it off and on again, that sort of thing. But
yeah. I try that with my router. Sometimes it works for treats. Like, that's all I got. Hey, but look, we got the major for Counter-Strike coming up on the weekend. We can talk about that, I suppose, to fill the time. Look, an exciting time for Counter-Strike. We always love having big events come through and get to watch that online. So we get to watch our good friends, the Renegades, play on the weekend. Luther, are you excited for that?
Very keen. I've seen so many people put 0-3 as their pick'em position, and it's just so disappointing because I feel like Renegades, honestly, with that opening match against IHC, definitely have an opportunity to at least get themselves, you know, maybe one of those softball ones early on. As far as I'm concerned, I'm definitely hoping to see the boys perform. Of course, it's always a good time to see them at that major. Of course, will be very interesting to see as well. Just I mean, I think watching the RMRs and seeing how some of those games went with the likes of LFO, the former Order roster as well, just going through and, you know, putting up quite these close fights. The Vertex roster, of course, I know you're particularly very excited for some of the prospects they've had lately. Feeling very Swedish, I think they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an exciting time for Australian Counter-Strike in general, I think. It's probably the healthiest it's looked in quite some time. I don't know if you agree, but I just think everything's looking really nice in Australian Counter-Strike at the moment. Just there's lots of teams all vying. Of course, you do have your Renegades, you have your Aftershocks. We don't have Order anymore. We do have Vertex, and I think we got a new team. There's a new team forming with a couple of players of old that have quite some notable history in Counter-Strike in Australia. So look, I think it's a really strong time, and it sets a great precedence heading forward for our future. And you know, never know if we can continue this sort of momentum for Australian Counter-Strike, we might get to see some of those golden eras that we saw from Renegades in the past, where we did actually have contending Australian teams when we went overseas. So look, I'm excited, but the round is back underway. It will be UOW Red on the T side once more. They've got guns in hand. 3 Galils, the M4A1S, and the Scout, whereas they're the same sort of situation, but Statsy just gives 80k a haircut and takes him out pretty quickly. That's a good little impact frag there. Kevin back in the server, of course. He will be forced to need to try and get something done with that D, because it is already down to the 5v3. Chocks, Kevin, and Sunshine's trying to get something done here. A couple of rifles and a Desert Eagle will be an important fight back here, or will they opt in to save these rifles? I'm looking at the map. It looks like that we might get to see a bit of a save here on this one, as they do look to navigate their way through to the next round. Kevin will fall, so he's not been able to make an impact since reconnecting. And will be plenty of guns saved or recovered heading into this next round for UOW Red, which is a very favourable position, keeping their momentum going forward.
Yeah, certainly is quite the good position coming out from them, of course. UOW Red, well, they do drop a player to Juba, but that gives away Sunshine's position, and Danny Serve in a good position to maybe try and take him out. Does manage that one, with Chocks attempting to go for that fight as well, spotting the cross back over. Certainly, it is unfortunate in the way that gives away his position. As we see the T's hunting, we see Nick's able to, well, get some bullets off, but not able to connect them in the end. Somehow Chocks, despite all of that, managing to survive. I really thought he was absolutely going down there, but apparently not. Apparently he will be able to stay alive. What is going to be completely dead, however, is that CT side economy. They're not going to be able to buy up any of those rifles or anything like that. And we will see that AWP go down in Statsy, however, as that Deagle coming through from Kevin, of course. And you know, Lockie, we were talking a bit about, of course, how Australian Counter-Strike is kind of shaping up and the major and all that, but it definitely is quite good to see one of the big signs, of course, of health in, a scene like this is that kind of grassroots, and we're seeing, even in competitions like this, in this University League, just such an intense level of competition where there's so many players just vying to try and show some success and really just make a name for themselves, and that ultimately is just what's kind of deciding the health of this scene. But we'll be seeing as well, Sunshine's looking to take some health away from his opponents as UOW still just trying to play for control here, leaving it all onto Nyx. And ADK trying to make his way back up.
It's an interesting little 1v1 here. ADK with the AWP will be shut down by Nyx. Really good play there. 3-1 the scoreline. But yeah, I agree. Grassroots Counter-Strike, it's looking great. And the more opportunities, the better. They provide opportunities for up-and-coming players that maybe haven't been noticed by those orgs or those forming teams yet. It provides them an opportunity, a bit of a platform to get themselves noticed and progress their way through. And you don't get that sort of luxury with a lot of esports, so it's a great thing to see. If you look at some other notable esports, like maybe like League of Legends, it's so strong at the upper level, but at the grassroots level, there's not a lot of opportunities to get noticed. So this is a great little stepping ground for Australian Counter-Strike. And some of these players, like we've talked about, ADK and Sunshines, they've at least featured at that top tier of Counter-Strike in Australia. So hopefully see more of those players navigate their way through the AEL as well. But round number 5 underway, UOW Red, they will have to be forced to take down that man in question in Sunshines if they want to get onto this A site, but they will be doing a bit of a mid to B split.
Yeah, nice little HEs coming through onto those UOW players. We see that flash come out from Kevin as well to enable his teammate to try and swing out, or at least just gain that kind of control and just post himself on the right sort of angle there. Meanwhile, Sunshine's going to be taking contact on towards the A site. We'll be extinguishing that Molotov, and that does give him a little bit of cover to hide around as well and to make a play with as well. But, well, you can't really make a play when Nyx just taps your head like that, and your teammates too. Why not? Just to take those two to go. As UOW able to find the perfect openers towards that side and able to get that bomb down quickly thereafter as well. 3 players left on the Mega side to try and frag back into this one. Chox and ADK do manage to find those re-entries. Kevin not so lucky as Nico managing to turn around to spot that one, but ADK still very strong with that A1S. Will take the fight. Nico now left by himself as we're going to see Chox just try and tap the bomb, try and take his opponent and draw him out, but will ultimately not be able to fight for it there. Time ticking away. Nico attempting to try and get back to it, but Chox having the time to just stick it and will manage to get the defuse.
That's shocking, to say the least. Nico...
he mistimed that.
Yeah. I probably thought they had a bit more time. Maybe didn't anticipate that they have maybe a defuse kit. A lot of different ways to kind of analyze that and go, well, where'd that go wrong? But nonetheless, like, look, they didn't win the round, but they do have, it was an economy builder regardless. Like, they got a bit of money to work with, so they're buying this one through anyway. And the CT buy is still not looking great, so there's a bit to work with, but they can't let those sort of rounds go awry when they're trying to shut the door completely on Mega. They're already... Mega, they want to get this first seed. UOW Red, they have the opportunity to make them play second seed. UOW, they're not moving through the playoffs. We know that much, but Kevin, he's moving through with a Desert Eagle, gets 2, 1 through the wall. He's going to play a bit more aggressive. Walks into the bullets. The total disregard for the AK-47 gets 3 kills, 2 with the D, 1 with the AK. But like I said, UOW, they're out of the playoffs, but they have the opportunity to at least hinder Mega's run through the playoffs a little bit by affecting which seed they'll be. So, look, not all is said and done just yet, but 55 left on the clock, and UOW need to make a decision pretty swiftly on where they're going to go.
Yeah, they have to try and figure something out here, and they've got a little bit of util to do it. Realistically, those smokes and those flashes, which we are going to be seeing those dropped over towards Juba, could come into effect. We see those two just going straight out over towards mid as we see the mid to B smoke come through, but Neo pushing up over towards that back of bedroom will be able to drop the bomb. Now leaving it all down to Statsy to try and make his mark back into this one with 25 seconds left, and CT's swarming all around this mid here will be quite difficult. Does manage that first one though, but just not too much time to work around here. It's going to take quite the miracle and quite the aggressive peaks coming out from those Mega players to be able to get back into this one, and ADK will just be able to passively wait behind and manages to claim that kill in the end to deny that round going the way of UOW. Now things are tied up 3-3. Both of these teams really just playing again that sort of close back and forth game.
Yeah, eco round now coming for UOW. Deagles and Attack 9. Trying to navigate their way out long. They've set up for the anti-flash and they've done it well. Now one in the pit. They're all stacked out to long. There will be a Neo able to get two. Nyx able to get one there. Oh, it's a team kill rather. And then Nyx will be taken out. Juba follows suit as well. And not exactly the round they were looking for there on the eco, but you know, from my experience with the AEL Uni League, a team kill is it's not a Uni League game without a team kill here and there. And we've seen two tonight, so just fulfilling, just ticking all the boxes, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a rite of passage, of course, when you have just sort of these wildly thrown together stats and all that, but we are going to be seeing quite a nice strat coming out there from Mega as far as the delay long control going, just waiting for the push to come through and going for those flashes to be able to regain it and just going for the swings off those, ultimately just working out so well as they manage to post their way up and claim 2 kills for themselves as well. ADK managing to get another one as well as Danny attempts to wander over towards that further ends of mid, but ultimately just not anticipating the player to be that close. Statsy falling as well, and Nico getting spotted at trying to push over towards short, just having to push in front of the Molotov. Will get shot right down as Mega really just playing that round to perfection there. The CT side and the defense coming from it just being absolutely impeccable.
Ice cold defense coming in from Mega. Not really willing to put a step wrong right now. And that's another eco round coming through for UOW Red, and the pain just keeps getting worse and worse, and it looks like the disrespect is going to come through pretty thick and fast. And Shocks and ADK able to get one. Danny, nice little shot there with the Tech 9 on Sunshines, but only able to get one. They look to push this mid doors, and they will be shut down. Chocks good for one, a Neo good for another. Chocks make 2 with the big green. And that will be a 6th round in the board now for Monash, who are continuing to try and get this over and done with nice and swiftly to try and get themselves to that first seed heading into the playoffs, whereas UOW Red, they're desperately trying to just at least disrupt the seeding for Monash heading into those playoffs, because we won't get to see them, unfortunately. They played a good series so far tonight, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Mega continue just to show that lack of respect.
It's just the way that things go, I suppose. Mega just really, now that they've established themselves and they've really found their way to get into this one, really taking that to heart. But that being said, UOW definitely not going out without a fight. We do see that over-aggressive CT positioning there over towards lowers, and, well, it doesn't work out exactly as well as they would have hoped, having lost that player trading back and losing a player over towards the A side as well as the T side push comes through from long, definitely making things a lot more difficult. Fortunately, a bit of this utility, it might be able to delay the bomb plant and put the CT side players in a really good position to go for this retake here. But that being said, they need to at least just find 1 or 2 of these kills while maintaining plays in order to do so. Well, Sunshine's good for 1, 80k good for another, definitely opens it back up. Statsy will trade for 1, leaving it all down onto 80k as his teammate falls as well. But 80k, we've seen exactly what he's capable of. We've seen that experience come through, but Statsy trying to prove himself as well as equally capable, but won't be able to whip the gun out in time. 80k capitalizing on that to absolute perfection. Will be able to take out the 2 versus 1 and find another round for Mega.
Yeah, absolute perfection to say the least. Wow, what a round from ADK, showing why they're such a known name in Australian Counter-Strike. Getting the job done there. Putting the 7th round on the board for Mega, so all the momentum heading their way. Only 1 away from securing that lead, heading into halftime. Kevin again will sit up here on long with the AWP and will be caught by ADK on the flank with the T side. The absolute disrespect being shown from Mega right now is deafening as ADK gets another one again, and it's all left on Statsy, who is forced, that's hanging out here on long. Will they able to get out 1? Will they continue to push, or will they leave this one alone? Statsy just trying to navigate their way out of this one with the ADK, with the AK feeling trapped on long. AWP one side, M4's waiting on the other. It's not a good position to be in, as Mega look like they might get their 8th round on the board, and Neo will get the job done. That's an 8th round on round 11. And all the momentum heading well and truly towards Monash.
8-3. Mega just looking so good right now with all of these rounds in quick succession. You can see that right there on the scoreboard, 7 in a row there. And we can just see the numbers being put up by some of these players, particularly Chox and ADK, both over that 100 ADR mark. 111 for ADK, 121 for Chox, who's just been looking at so unbelievably good. And UOW, as this momentum has flared up from their opposition, really have been struggling to find an answer. But then again, when you're seeing such strong Counter-Strike being played from a team like Mega, what really is the answer? It's a bit difficult to figure that one out, but certainly we are going to be seeing a bit of a change of approach. We've seen some of these overly aggressive plays not quite work out for them, so UOW just playing a bit more further back, a bit more passive, trying to fight against the CT aggression, and they will be able to at least get a trade.
Yeah, just the 4v4. Oh, and Sunshine's taking a nice little dink there. Danny trying to push through these mid doors, just desperately seeking some of that map control, and is able to take out their one. Nix and Danny both getting one each. That's a great little start that provides the avenue to open up a little bit, bring it into that 3v2, but the spray down through mid doors, ADK gets one, but he's taken a lot of damage in the meantime. That does provide a bit of a headache. Satsy recovers the bomb, will get back up Xbox, potentially the danger of getting taken out by the AWP, and now a bit more map control over towards the A site. There is one player in Danny. Is it Danny? There in CT, but Kevin with the AWP getting the job done. Sharp work, and it is the 2v1 retake. Satsy does have 2 players low. That does provide the opportunity, takes out one, all left on ADK with only 14 HP to try and get it done.
But again, ADK, that player to certainly watch out for. Well, we've seen exactly what he's able to do. We'll try and push up towards the side as Statsy, again, is just going to be trying to play nice and passive, but goes for the swing and does manage to catch it on the angle. ADK tagged down so low, unable to stay alive in the fight, and Statsy does try to go and recover that AWP, but will be unable to. Still, nevertheless, is able to find some recovery as being able to stop that momentum in that round win streak from the opposition of Mega, and finally get another round on the board. UOW, it was looking a little bit worrying for them, but Mega certainly have been able to pick things up, but that last round not quite going their way. Mega, again, trying to fight for this top slot in their group, but UOW still standing in their way. But one of their players not going to be standing any longer, Nico, to fall down.
Yeah, it's already an early falling for the T side, and the spray down through the smoke and persisting. They might actually be in luck here, the T side. If they can just hold strong here, they might find a bit of over-aggression. The lack of respect shown from Mega so far throughout this matchup does kind of trend that they might try and push again. But this time they look like they're showing a bit more respect here to the CT side. Not willing to overstep their mark. The bomb is heading up over towards the A site, where they will just only find the one player at the current. It's already pushed down to pit, so a lot of map control. This is the problem when you're on the T side and you allow this much map control to the CTs. You find it really hard to break onto a site because they're literally everywhere, it feels like. But Nick's really good work able to get one. Won't expect the player at car in ADK. Shuts it down, but the rotation will come through.
Yeah, that's rough. You really just got to clear out those corners and really just give it a double check. When, you're entering the site by yourself, you have to just make sure you can't get yourself traded out, especially, when you're able to find a nice opener like that. Definitely don't want to let it get to waste. Mega will be able to hold the player's advantage at 4-3, but we'll see Chox trying to go for that push there as ADK will be holding on towards the B site, manages to get the double spray down. Danny and Statsy to fall as the bomb is now dropped, and Juba trying to get back over, but only 4 seconds left, no time to plan, just hoping they can die before time to receive that income, and that wish will be granted. But overall, the round just ultimately not working out for UOW. A bit of a disjointed push coming forth overall, as we saw some individual fights come out. We saw some of these players just looking to take control by themselves, but we didn't see a grander scheme being pushed forward. We didn't really see that kind of big overarching plan as the pieces fit together. Instead, it was a lot more disjointed than that, and we're going to need to see a bit of something different from UOW, especially in this round without the weaponry. But Neo will be shutting down 2 of those players. Does fall down at the very least as Nico tries to do some more damage. Will be good for that one more with the Deagle, and hoping to catch off Sunshine's, but that smoke just serving to provide such good cover. Sunshine's emerging from the other side.
Yeah, you said UOW needs something, and that was not it. Unfortunately, this game has really gotten out of hand to them. It seems Mega have just found their home here on Dust 2. Inferno was a bit more touch and go, but Dust 2 really starting to run away with this one, and the players are starting to shine and come through in full droves. Chocks on 14, ADK 16, a Neo on 10. Sunshine's 8, and same for Kevin. It's a bit of a team split of the kills, but Chalk's really been shining through with ADK so far throughout this one. None of the players from UOW have really been able to get rolling so far throughout this one. It's been showing, we talked about the CTs just getting so much map control. Kevin already up near bedroom, just holding that angle. Player playing mid doors there, over towards the B site. The bomb is drifting over towards B. Can they make a breakthrough here? Will it have to be Danny with the AK-47? Or can Statsy creep through mid doors here and get something happening in that regard? Well, time will tell, but it won't be Statsy, who does get shot down by Chocks. Bring it to that 5v4, and the answers continue to be to be found from Mega for every push that UOW offers.
Now, Neo finding those 2 kills as well, certainly been quite huge. Chocks cleaning up as well, as Mega really have just been showing so much strength in this map, as we're seeing. What once over on Inferno was quite the back and forth affair, quite the close map. This time around going quite the way of Mega, who've been able to really steer this one and take it in. UOW certainly reeling from that loss in that last map. That loss meaning that there's no longer a viable option for them to be able to make the playoffs. But Mega certainly not going to be feeling that same sort of emotion, of course. Being able to secure themselves that spot with the first map and trying to get themselves that top position in their group with taking this second one. They're going to be fighting around in this pistol round just by pushing up over towards A, but we're seeing the reversal come through. Nyx and Neo managing to find those 2 kills each in quick succession, leaving Sunshine's all by himself in the 1-on-5. And surrounded by CTs, the bomb dropped up on the site. How can he do anything here? There is not any option open to him whatsoever.
Yeah, great round there from CT side. UOW getting first one on the board there. The door's not completely shut out for them on this one, but they do need to get something happening pretty quickly and start to get this snowballing heading their way. 11-5 the scoreline. Mega, they want to try and get this over and done with. So anything UOW can do here is just dragging out the pain a bit more for Mega, who just want to get out of here with their first seed into the playoffs. Will be Nyx creeping up with the FAMAS. We'll run into a bit of a headache here if they're not careful, and we'll be in a bit of a duel with Sunshines. I've seen Sunshines never miss those, and then Chocks gets one as well. And they will run into a bit of an issue now on short, and they continue to do damage. Juba now down to 13 HP in a world of trouble. And map control for the T side and guns starting to fall towards their favor. This could be a really dangerous sequence of play coming in for UOW Red.
Yeah, certainly could be quite devastating for Mega as well, though, dropping some players here as we see UOW finding those 2 kills, of course, Juba being responsible for those ones as Chocks and Neo going down. That being said, Mega still having those 3 players to play around, all of them having some armor to work with at least. And 2 of them having those deagles, one with a rifle, definitely hoping to try and do some damage, but Juba not going to fall down, unrelenting. Not willing to give up on this one. We'll be able to take another kill as Nico finds one as well. Leaving it all down to Sunshine's in the 1-on-3. We'll try to get out over towards the B side, but he's spotted by just that side of his shoulder. Danny Serb able to find that final kill. And a round number 6 for UOW Red.
Yeah, another round on the board. Good stuff coming in from UOW Red, but needs a bit more than that. But they have got the pistols back out again for Mega, who were really close to breaking that round wide open, but weren't quite able to get it done. And again, forced to try and create some magic. What can they get done? The flashes come up mid, pushing through with the M4, and this is a bit of a flip of the script. We saw this coming through from Mega when they were on the CTs. Now they're forced to deal with the aggression from Juba, who gets 3, and that might be enough to back away. Continues to wait around top mid, but it will be next pushing through with the MP9. And Chocks the last one left top mid with that M4. Can't imagine they'll be fighting their way out of this one for too much longer. Nico shuts it down. That will be the 11th or 7th round on the board for UOW Red, and continue to build the momentum here on the CT side.
Yeah, UOW Red doing quite the good job of being able to just survive as Mega. They did definitely challenge them, but well, UOW Red have been able to capitalize on winning that pistol round and denying any bomb plants from the T side. But now we are seeing the buy-up, and that is certainly going to be the true test, of course, of the CT side here of UOW Red. Now with rifles across all 5 of the players on Mega, they are just going to be trying to take control over towards that mid position there. We see the bomb just getting dropped forth over from Shox as ADK will be in a good position to recover it there. Just opting to try and go for a pick over towards mid with a very nice angle. Statsy will fall down, walking right into that one. Not exactly the start you want to see for UOW, but certainly not the start that they were anticipating, of course. Not really expecting the player to be up there. And having lost that mid control, of course, that mid to B smoke will be able to go down. As now a split on towards that side is certainly looking quite viable of an approach. We see some of that over-aggression from the CT side over towards long as well, but Shox there to punish it.
Oh. Wow, Shox, beautiful, 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 beautiful. It's all left now on Juba with the M4A1S in hot pursuit. He's able to get one there on Kevin, one lowers, and they're all just going to swarm him. And if he can get his way out of this one, I will be thoroughly impressed. But it will be Shox swinging to finish the job. 12th round on the board for Mega. They continue to pursue this first seed. It's well within their grasp. They can taste it. But they still need to get a few more rounds on the board. 4 more rounds on the board to try and get themselves there. Can they do it? How quickly can they do it? That's going to be the questions they're asking themselves. But Nico round coming through. The economy is not too bad for the CTs, but they need to get it all in line. Nick's only on $150. Juba on $2,800. Danny on $2,400. And then there's a couple of players there in the high economy area. So look, it is pretty close, but Sunshine's and ADK getting one each, shutting down that. And then Juba now about to swing through mid. Can Kevin shut this one down? No, he cannot. Juba again. Display of use of the Desert Eagles has been very strong tonight. It's been an absolute treat to watch. 3 left coming through mid doors, but ADK will deal with that very aptly.
Oh, Nick's managing to get away though, but we'll see Neo on the other side managing to clean that one up. Ultimately, that was just a really quality round from Mega coming forth for the most part. I mean, really just that T-side control being able to get their way up across all fronts there. I think they were just looking so good in terms of being able to establish that control and really just shut their opponents out of it overall. We are going to be seeing Statsy as well, just going for that pick over towards mid, and that's a really good opener for the CT side there. Kevin just dancing around over towards that top mid, but will it be shut away? UOW could first strike, but we'll see if we'll see any more from them. Danny just spraying through the smoke, managing to catch a second player as well in ADK. The flash coming through for the refrag being absolutely on point as Sunshine's managing to throw that one, leading to Ineo getting the opener. Mega outnumbered as they try to hold on to this B-bomb site.
Yeah, this has been an impressive hold, but Nyx has been allowed to walk through for basically free, but eventually punished for it. Brings it to the 3v3. Juba taking lots of damage. Same with Stats. He's standing in that Molotov. This is a bit of a headache now. It brings it to a very hard to reach position. And it looks like the CTs might consider the save here. Juba going through lowers might provide a bit of resistance, but the CTs, all in all, they're going to save these rifles. They understand that this game's not over yet. If they can just keep some guns heading into the next one, there's a good opportunity they can still win the game here on Dust, but it will be the 21st round falling towards Mega with another really strong site take. Since they got the rifles back in their hands, they've not really looked back and looking really strong, and that's why they will be the first seed, you have to imagine, heading into the playoffs.
I mean, if at the very least, just showing by this series, Mega certainly have shown that they are very much so deserving of that title, being able to take that top place position in that in the playoffs and being able to take the top of Group D. Even though they do lose a player there on Shox, but hey, not too bad for him. He's got 10k in the bank, of course. But Mega overall, look, they've just been looking so good so far throughout this Uni League. They've just been quite these strong players overall, and they've really just been able to show why they've been deserving of that playoff position that they managed to secure the first map. And if they're able to secure this one as well, certainly being deserving of taking that position, of course. Well, look, they're going to be trying very hard to go for that one. ADK will be entering out over towards the A site, and we'll be going for that wide swing as well. But Nico will be able to find the refrag. Nick's hoping to be sneaky around that smoke. Will get shut down, though, as it clears. Kevin being in swift position to act first. The rest of his team take control over towards the A side, leaving it down to just Stazzy and Danny to try and get their way back towards the site. And given the state of their economy and given what they could potentially save, maybe it would be worth just holding on to these ones and going for the next round. But even still, I mean, they're not going to have much to buy up with in this next one. They're at least going to be out full loss bonus. That is some sort of consolation, but they just don't have anything in those savings accounts to work with.
Yeah, it's a bit of a consolation kill there, but the bomb's going to go off regardless. It will be a 15th round towards Mega or Monash. And that's going to be match point and series point. It could potentially be a 2-0 sweep coming through to Mega, who have played really exceptionally well, particularly here on Dust. Inferno was a really good fight coming through from UOW Red, but Dust has been all the favor of Mega, who have not really looked back. Have a great opportunity here to close it out, but the economy not looking... Oh, there's a bit to buy in. They'll be able to buy rifles for the most part. Danny will be able to go the M4A1S, but with full armor. And Jubal will do the same. Famus for Nix, and Nico will get the M4A1S as well. So look, it's a very workable situation. They are a little limited on the utility end, but still a very workable situation as they are out towards the B site. 4 over there, 1 towards long, but went back through T-spawn. And Juba has just got the absolute positioning here to try and get it done. And just perfect flank, not a worry in the world for his end. And then Nico going to come through to try and back it up as well and get the job done. Kevin, 10 HP, just dancing with Juba right now, but Juba will shut it down. That will be another round in the books for UOW Red, who continue just to provide a bit of resistance here to Mega, not letting this game run over just yet.
Yeah, not quite over for them yet. I mean, that was the kind of CT aggression that you kind of want to see, the kind of last stand, if you will, from UOW that you want to see from them. That's the type of round that they needed if they're going to keep this one up. But as far as rounds that they need, well, 7 more will be required to force overtime here. And Mega, they're just so aggressive. Look at Ioneer just dancing through the flames, just going through the fire to try and find that kill, and will be very successful in doing so. We see ADK with one as well. That's just unbelievable. The B rush working so successfully over towards that site. There we will see the HEs coming through, and Nix managing to claim 2 with it. Oh my god, that's absolutely massive and exactly what UOW need to get back into this round.
Oh, and Kevin with the AWP getting 1 there, but Juba providing a bit of resistance. Nico good for 1 as well. It's all left on to Kevin, who won't be able to get it done, and that will be another bomb defused. It was a beautiful HE grenade. My word, not often you get 2 with 1 HE grenade here in Counter-Strike, but it will be this time around a 9th round for UOW Red, and the game continues to extend. Economy able to buy in once more here for Mega, and this is a bit frustrating for them now. They feel like they have the game right at their tips, but they can't quite get across the line. And again, it was a round win for the CT side, but they had to struggle their buy through, but they are able to get it done with a bit of split use of the economy. The CTs, another round they'd love to win. They'd love to keep giving headaches here to Mega. Can they extend this game a little bit longer? Juba swinging long very ambitiously. And Nico there with the AWP.
Yeah, very nice from Nico, just holding onto that sight line to try and find a player crossing over. Does spot ADK, but doesn't have the scope out initially. Does go for the reswing and manages to land it. So really nice pick coming through overall for Nico. Definitely a good opener and the type of thing we needed to see there. Of course, UOW definitely holding on to this one. We've just seen so many of these hero plays come through for that side of things. Juba with that one there. We saw, of course, in that last round, that round-winning or maybe game-winning, at the very least, definitely the nade that saved UOW ultimately coming through from Nix. And now we've seen off the back of that, just another strong round from the CT side. Kevin now last one standing, won't stand for much longer as Danny cleans that up, and UOW hit 10 now. 5 more needed to force OT, but the economy of the Mega side not being particularly great either. We're just seeing so many of these half buys, these force buys coming through for that side. How many more have they got to go? how much longer can UOW hold out?
The question is that the UOW just keep finding a way to crawl back into this, and again, another beautiful HE grenade, bringing ADK down to 2 HP. The save round already gone awry so far for the T side as they look to try and get some picks. And it looks like ADK is about to dry peek this on his own at 2 HP with no one there to trade him. They're not going to expect the players on the right side of pit there, and Statsy able to get one. Nick's coming through with a couple as well. ADK finally able to get one. Will be taken down. Sunshine, so it's all left down to ADK, who will be swiftly taken out. An 11th round on the board for UOW Red, and they continue to just give headache and headache and headache to Mega.
Mega certainly struggling. That's definitely one thing that's for certain. UOW also have just found this very different form, I feel like. They've just been so on top of things, but more than that, they've been playing with such confidence as well that it almost feels like, wow, they're not up against this map point here because they're playing in such risky ways where they feel like, well, I suppose they're just kind of in that mentality of, well, we might as well just go for it. We might as well just put out what we can and just show whatever strength we can, even if it's risky. I mean, that's where these aggressive players have come from, right? We're seeing Statsy posted by himself over towards Long, but even still, he's just absolutely thriving in it, managing to find that 2-for-1. Even if he goes down, managing to take those 2 kills is absolutely huge. But UOW not managing to hold on to that numbers advantage as we see Mega start to push up. Nico will be able to get that kill back into it, however. ADK and Ineo still left, but ADK managing to fight on. Ineo there too, and now all onto Danny, left in the 1-on-2 here. We'll have to see what exactly they are able to pull off, just being blinded so many times.
Been a great fight back from the CTs. Danny, this would take a mammoth effort, you'd have to assume, but with both players tagged up a little bit, the AK-47, as much damage as it does, great opportunity to try and get something happening here. Having said that, Danny doesn't have a lot of time to work with. There's no saving. There's no other option. Needs to go. And Neo just holding that absolute death angle will shut it down. That will be the end of it at 16-11 scoreline. Mega, they were on the precipice of potentially missing out here on the playoffs before this series started tonight, and they have secured the W, taking themselves through to a 2-0 sweep, which will give them the first seed in Pool D heading into the playoffs. A really strong showing against a UOW Red side who showed some promise on Inferno, and in the late stages of Dust, if only we had seen that a little bit earlier on Inferno, what we saw there in the late stages of Dust, this could have been a totally different series, and potentially we could have been saying goodbye to Monash, but here we are. Monash, they will be the 2-0 sweeps heading into the playoffs.
And that is going to be Monash, who will be able to take that first seed in Group D as well as they do so. Absolutely massive stuff coming out from them as they do just such a good job in being able to take that last one. They really show why they were able to take that top seed, of course, just being a really strong team overall, really incredibly great competitors. UOW Red faring quite well as well, being able to just go so strongly and really make those 2 maps so hotly contested. But unfortunately for them, they won't be able to qualify for playoffs. They needed both of those maps in order to do so, but sadly will not be able to take any. But still, Mega absolutely coming on there. The Monash lads definitely have to be quite happy with that, as they're going to be heading into the playoffs next week.
Yeah, it's a great showing. It's a great team effort, and I'm really excited to see what happens throughout the playoffs. It seems like we're really heating up and shaping up towards a great playoff series, so it's going to be an exciting watch. So make sure you are tuning in to all the action. It's going to be a beautiful spectacle to watch. Some more Counter-Strike, or plenty more Counter-Strike coming away as competition starts to get towards the pointy end, as all teams have been fighting for up to this point. But we can't go without thanking our lovely sponsors, Luther, and that is our friends over at Predator Gaming. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming today. Predator are the gaming PC partner of the AEL. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming. Predator puts power and precision in your hands. Elevate your gaming experience in every way with quality performance thanks to Predator. AOC, the best viewing experience. AOC is the global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC has delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for home, office, or gaming. And Rig develops headsets, delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team and enhance your gaming experience. Yeah, big shout outs, of course, to Predator, AOC, and Rig for being
a massive, massive integral part of the AEL University League, and you know, being there to just make sure that we can put on this show, that we can provide this platform to these players. You know, we're talking a bit in the broadcast about how grassroots and these sorts of leagues are so important for players in the Oceanic scene. So it's definitely just absolutely so exciting to see players being able to develop through leagues like this. And again, next week, we're going to be seeing that playoffs bracket come through. We're going to be up into those finals where we're going to see those best of threes come out. We're going to see these really heavy hitting games come through. Of course, if you want to find out more about the AEL or upcoming events and live streams, such as those playoffs games, be sure to check out at AEL Esports League on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and even TikTok as well. And as far as Twitch, you can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/AEL Uni and twitch.tv/AEL Uni 2. But for now, that is going to be it from us. If you've enjoyed the casting tonight, do be sure to check out our social medias, of course, at charisma_AU for the handsome man to my right, or for at me at It's Tuesdays. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.